You already know which moment I'm talking about. You don't need me to describe it. It's already there, sitting behind your ribs, quiet and patient, like something that has been waiting a very long time for you to finally look at it. And here is what almost no one will tell you. That moment of honesty, the one you have been circling for months, maybe years, it isn't going to destroy you. It is going to be the first real thing that has happened to you in a long time. Before this video ends, you are going to understand something specific. You are going to understand why every other attempt at change felt thin, felt borrowed, felt like it belonged to someone else's life. And you are going to see, clearly, what the one honest sentence you have never allowed yourself to say is actually capable of doing for you. Not what it might do, what it will do. If you stay with me, so stay. Here is what I know about you. Not because I've been told, because I've lived it, and I recognize it in the way you found this video. You have been managing, that's the word, isn't it? Managing, not thriving, not even surviving in the dramatic sense, just managing. Keeping the plate spinning, saying you're fine when someone asks, and meaning it enough to believe it for about 45 seconds. You are good at functioning. You have gotten very, very good at it. And somewhere in all that functioning, a particular kind of exhaustion has settled into you. Not the kind that sleep fixes. The kind that lives underneath sleep. The kind that is still there when you wake up at 3 a.m. and the room is dark and quiet, and the thoughts come, not as voices exactly, but as a pressure, a weight. You know what that pressure is. On some level, you have always known. It is the weight of the version of yourself you have not yet let yourself be. And tonight, something in you decided it was time to at least look at it. That took more courage than you know. I want you to hear that. Not as a comfort, as a fact. Now let me tell you about a pattern. I want to give it a name, because naming things is how we stop being controlled by them. I call it the honest delay. The honest delay is not lying. Let me be very clear about that. You are not a dishonest person. In fact, you are probably more honest with the people around you than you have ever been with yourself. That's what makes this so quietly painful. The honest delay is what happens when you know a truth. Feel it fully in your body, in your chest, in the catch in your breath when someone asks you the right question. And then you move away from it. Gently. So gently, you don't even notice you've done it. You redirect. You minimize. You say, it's not that serious, or other people have it worse, or I should be grateful. And all of those things might even be true, but they become untrue the moment you use them to escape the one sentence that would change everything. Here is why this happens, and I want you to really hear this. The honest delay does not form because you are weak. It forms because at some point, your honesty cost you something real. Maybe it cost you a relationship. Maybe it cost you belonging. Maybe it cost you the image of yourself as someone who has it together. And your nervous system, which is brilliant and designed to protect you, learned that truth was dangerous, that being fully known was risky. So it taught you to pause before the truth, to soften it, to redirect it, to manage it. And you have been living inside that pause for a long time. The day I stopped lying to myself, my real life finally had room to begin. Let that land. Don't move past it. Now let me tell you how change actually works when it is real. There are 3 things that have to happen. The first is called felt truth. Felt truth is different from understood truth. You can understand for years that you are worthy of love, hear it, nod at it, agree with it, while your body continues to behave as though it isn't true. Felt truth is when the knowing moves from your head down into your chest and your gut. It is not an idea anymore. It is a sensation, a certainty. A woman in her late 40s once described it like this. She said, "I have known that I deserved better for 10 years, but the night I actually felt it, in my body, like something clicking into place, was the night I finally made the call." That is felt truth. You get there by speaking the honest sentence, out loud, to yourself, once. The second principle is called pattern interruption. Your nervous system has been running the same internal script, the same self-commentary, the same minimizing, the same careful distance from the full truth, for so long that it has become automatic. Pattern interruption is not about willpower. It is about inserting one different action at the exact moment the old pattern would normally activate. One honest sentence at the moment you would normally redirect is enough to begin rewriting the neural script. The third principle is called witnessed truth. This is the one most people skip. Witnessed truth is when your honesty is heard by someone else, or by your own words in writing, or by your own voice spoken aloud in an empty room. When truth is witnessed, it becomes real in a different way. It cannot be quietly undone. It has been said. It exists now outside of you. Say this slowly now, out loud if you can. The day I stopped lying to myself, my real life finally had room to begin. Say it again. Let it move through you. Feel where it lands. If this feels true in you tonight, write this in the comments and let your own words witness you. The day I stopped lying to myself, my real life finally had room to begin, and I am choosing that day to be today. Write it, not for anyone else, for the part of you that has been waiting to be heard. Now I want to give you something to do with this tonight. Before you sleep, before the phone goes dark and the room goes quiet, sit with one question, not to answer it on paper, just to sit with it. The question is this: what is the one thing I know is true about my life right now that I have not yet allowed myself to say out loud? Don't search for the answer. It will come. It always comes. It has been pressing toward the surface for a long time, and when it does, when that sentence forms, even partly, even imperfectly, don't redirect. Don't minimize. Don't soften it into something manageable. Just let it be true, for one breath, just one. Your body will do something in that moment. It might feel like release. It might feel like grief. It might feel like the first real breath you have taken in a very long time. All of those mean the same thing. You are finally, actually here. And then, before you sleep, say the sentence I gave you. The day I stopped lying to myself, my real life finally had room to begin. Sleep will carry it deeper than you can take it consciously. The last emotional truth you hold before sleep is the one your brain integrates most deeply. This is not poetic. This is how memory consolidation works. If something in the last few minutes just settled in you, like a quiet recognition rather than a new idea, tap like. Let me tell you about someone. I won't give her a name. She doesn't need one. You will recognize her. She was 52 years old. She had a life that from the outside looked complete. A home, a family, a calendar full of things, people who loved her in the ways they knew how, and she was hollow, not miserable, not dramatic, not a crisis, just hollow. Like something essential had been scooped out so slowly and so long ago that she had stopped noticing the absence. She moved through her days efficiently, capably, with a smile that arrived right on time. She had tried things. She had read the books. She had sat in the therapist's chair and said the right words, and even felt something shift, briefly, and then watched it close again, like water over a stone. The particular Tuesday she would later describe as the beginning. It was ordinary in every way that Tuesdays are ordinary. She was driving home from somewhere forgettable, and a song came on, not a meaningful song, nothing with particular significance, and for a reason she still can't fully explain. She started crying, not crying in the managed way she had cried before, crying in the way that has no management in it. Crying the way a child cries, fully, without apology. And when it was over, when she sat in the parked car outside her house, hands still on the wheel, she heard herself say something, not in her head, out loud, to no one, to the windshield. She said, "I have been pretending to be okay for so long that I have forgotten what okay actually feels like." That was the sentence. That was all of it. She sat with it. She said it again. And something, a kind of quiet seismic shift, moved through her. Not an answer, not a solution. Just the truth, finally out loud, finally witnessed. Even if only by herself and the steering wheel of a parked car on an ordinary Tuesday. She went inside. She told her partner that same night that she had been hollow for a long time and didn't know how to say it until now. He cried. She had not expected him to cry. He cried because he had felt it too and hadn't known how to name it either. That conversation was the beginning of the most honest year of her life. Not the easiest, not the most comfortable, the most honest. She quit something that had been draining her for 7 years. She asked for something she had been too proud to ask for. She sat with grief she had been redirecting since her 40s. 9 months after the parked car and the ordinary Tuesday, she described herself to a friend, not as happy, not as healed, but as real. That was her word, real. And that is what honesty does when you finally stop delaying it. It does not fix everything. It makes you real inside your own life. It makes the good things actually reach you. It makes the love actually land. The day I stopped lying to myself, my real life finally had room to begin. That is where she arrived. And it started with one sentence, in a parked car, on a Tuesday, no one will ever remember except her. Here is the challenge. 7 days. Simple. Upon waking. Before the phone, before the news, before the first obligation, sit for 60 seconds and ask yourself, what is true for me right now? Not what should be true. What is? Midday. Notice the moment when you would normally redirect a feeling and choose instead to name it to yourself. You don't have to tell anyone. Just name it. Before sleep. Say the sentence. Out loud if you can. Quietly if that's all you have. The day I stopped lying to myself, my real life finally had room to begin. 7 mornings, 7 middays, 7 nights. This is not homework. This is a quiet contract with the version of yourself who is already waiting on the other side of your own honesty. I need you to feel where you are right now, not where you were when this started. Right now, something has moved. Even if only a fraction, it moved. And a fraction is the beginning of every distance ever traveled. The waiting is over, not because the world has changed, because you are done pretending the waiting is safety. You came here tonight for a reason. Some part of you, the real part, the part that has been quietly persistent through every disappointment, that part knew exactly why it brought you here. It brought you here because it was ready, because it has been ready. What you have now, that you did not have before this video began, is permission, your own permission, the only kind that has ever mattered. The day I stopped lying to myself, my real life finally had room to begin. The shift has already begun. It began the moment you stayed. All you have to do now is stop lying to yourself about what you already know. That is the whole thing. That was always the whole thing. If this felt like it was written for you, because in a deeper way it was, welcome home to Healing Love Space.